This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Hey guys, in today's video we'll be showcasing Infernape from the Twilight Masquerade expansion set, and this is one of the 4 cards that came out for the pre-release events, and unfortunately its stats are not all that great. Keeping in mind that, again, it is for the pre-release and they don't want to make it too overpowered. So Infernape is a stage 2 Pokemon. It only has 140 HP. Unfortunately, it's very easy to knock out, and its ability Pyro Dance is pretty decent. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic Fire Energy, a basic Fighting Energy card, or one of each from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. At first glance, I thought this was just like Colossal from the Sword and Shield era, where you can attach a basic Fire and a basic Fighting Energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. I think that one is a little bit more workable since you can always have access to those energy cards once it's in your discard pile, but this one, you actually have to draw into these basic energy cards. It's in your hand and be able to accelerate them to your Pokemon. And only being able to attach one of these different types of energies make it a little bit more awkward, because compared to Baxcalibur that can attach as many water energies from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like, make it so much stronger. And because of that, it also limits the number of Pokemon that you can actually combo this Infernape with. But to be fair, its ability is workable, and you can use it to actually accelerate energies to this Infernape so that you can use its attack, Scorching Fire. For 2 fire and 1 colorless energy, it deals 200 damage. However, you have to discard an energy from this Pokemon. The fact that you have to keep discarding energies might become a challenge, however, it is workable. So we have a few cards to actually work around that. First of all, we have Magma Basin. Once during each player's turn, that player may attach a Fire Energy card from their discard pile to one of their benched Fire Pokemon. And if a player attached an energy to their Pokemon this way, you have to put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So with this, you can easily recover the Fire Energy that you had discarded and attach it to one of your benched Fire Pokemon. And this build actually gave me an opportunity to finally try out the new Boomerang Energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 1 colorless energy. However, if this card is discarded by an effect of an attack used by the Pokemon this card is attached to, you can reattach this card from your discard pile to that Pokemon after attacking. And again, since Infernape's attack requires that you discard an energy, if you discard this energy, you put it in your discard pile and then you can just reattach it back to your Infernape. So really, you can attack with Infernape infinitely without ever losing an energy. So I thought this card was a real nice addition to this build. The damage output of Infernape's attack is pretty decent, however it's just not reaching that damage threshold that you really want to be able to knock out most basic V or EX Pokemon in the game. So to increase our attacks, I also have Maximum Belt. You can only have 1 Ace Spec card in your deck, but this one can help you increase your attack by 50 more damage when you're dealing damage to your opponent's active Pokemon EX. And then I also have Skeledirge EX with the Incendiary Song ability. Once during your turn, you may discard a basic Fire Energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. During this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon do 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So on paper, right, if you have 2 of these Skeledirge EX set up, you have the potential to add 120 more damage to Infernape's attack for a total of 320 damage. And if you add the Maximum Belt, you're pretty much knocking out any Pokemon in the game. But realistically though, I really have a hard time setting these up, but you have these as an option regardless. And if you're fighting against Water type matchup, you're just gonna lose because Fire types are weak against water. So having a Metal type Skeledirge EX in this build can actually help you, so you can actually use this as your attacker and not worry about weakness. And its attack Luster Burn is actually really nice too. For 2 Fire Energies, it deals 160 unblockable damage. As for my draw engines, I really wanted to fit in Bibarel in this build, but because we have so many cards to accommodate for setting up our stage 2 Pokemon, Cleffa was the easiest option that I have. It is very easy to get knocked out because it only has 30 HP, however, its attack Grasping Draw is so awesome. You draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand, and it's a nice pivot too because it has 0 retreat cost. But then I also have Rotom V. This is a nice Pokemon to start with, thanks to its ability Instant Charge. Once during your turn, you may draw 3 cards, and if you use this ability, your turn ends. Then you can also use this so that you can attach the 4 Seal Stones so that your V Pokemon can use the V-Star Power ability, Star Alchemy, which pretty much just let you search for any 1 card from your deck. And finally, for my late game attacker, we have Radiant Charizard. with the ability Excited Heart. This Pokemon's attack costs 1 colorless energy less for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if your opponent has already taken 4 prizes, you can use its attack Combustion Blast for just 1 fire energy, which deals 250 damage. However, during your next turn, this Pokemon cannot use this attack. So I know a lot of you guys have been requesting for an Infernape build, but this is the best I could do right now, guys. And I'm actually really not confident with the turnout of this build just yet. I'm still trying to experiment and trying to find the right combo that will fit well with Infernape, even if Infernape is just the energy accelerator support. But yeah, I think it's just the overall design of Infernape. I'm just really unhappy with it. It only has 140 HP, making it really easy to knock out, and its ability is just very niche and really hard to work with, especially you're not working with discarded energies, but energies in your hand, and it's only limited to 1 of each of 2 different types of energies. But if you guys have any nice recommendation, please do let me know in the comments below. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. Now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Infernape. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video, and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. We're going to start this one with a Cleffa in the active spot, and we have a Fuecoco on our bench, which is a really nice start. But I like going first. We have a lot of stage 2 Pokemon to evolve into, and on our first turn, we need to set up our basic as soon as possible. So our buddy Palafin helps out with that, and we're just going to end our turn. And I just put Manaphy into play because my opponent has water sleeves and stuff like that. So they could be using Radiant Greninja, which may allow them to take multiple knockouts. So at least our bench is protected from those attacks. And it looks like we're going against Palafin EX. My opponent has a bunch of Finizens on their bench, and this deck requires a lot of switching back and forth from the active spot to the bench, and vice versa. And also it's very infamous right now because the whole effect of Palafin with the 0 to hero ability is creating a lot of glitches. It's not working properly in PTCG Live right now, but hopefully this match goes well and nothing interrupts or messes up our whole game here. But my opponent definitely has an advantage because Infernape is weak against water, so they can easily knock it out with a single hit. We might have to use Skeledirge EX here to battle and see how it goes. But again, with all the switching, they also have Iron Valiant EX in their build. And I really like this combination actually because it has an ability called Tachyon Bits. If you move it from the bench to the active spot, they can put 2 damage counters to 1 of our Pokemon. So it's a really nice way to actually put Pokemon to their knockout range because Palafin EX can only deal 250 damage. So if you put those damage counters, you could possibly knock out even stage 2 high HP EX Pokemon. But with this Arven, I'm just gonna get Forest Steel Stone and Nest Ball. Evolve 1 of our Chimchar to Monferno, and let's see what we could set up here. I might just use my Forest Seal Stone right away and then grab a rare candy. We can use Ultra Ball, probably just discard these 2 other cards so that I can set up my Skeledirge. Again, I might have to use this to attack and not have to worry about weakness. So we're gonna go ahead and evolve our Skeledirge EX. And then I'm going to use Cleffa's Grasping Draw attack, which allows us to draw cards until we have 7 in our hand. So we're just going to end our turn. We're just going to focus on our setup here, trying to evolve into our Infernape. And it's nice to have our Skeledirge EX already in play. Unfortunately, Cleffa only has a few HP, and they were even able to knock out our Cleffa just by putting those damage counters with their Iron Valiant EX. So now that my opponent has Palafin with the Hero to Zero ability, they need to switch them into the active spot and then retreat them back. So here's one. They had a switch. Mew EX draws 2. Now they have to put Palafin back to their bench so they can evolve. But no, they're just gonna attack for 60. So with the Earthen Vessel, I'm just gonna grab our Fire Energies, and with Buddy Buddy Palafin, I'll grab another Chimchar and go from there. So what I could do is use Arven, just grab an Infernape, but I don't think I'll be able to fully energize one to attack this turn. At least we have Magma Basin. I could possibly attach one to the bench. So I'll attach one to Chimchar. And then I'm just gonna use Iono. Alright, we got an Infernape. Okay. That's a start. But no energies. Don't have any energies. I'm just gonna retreat, sacrifice my Manaphy here. I'm probably just gonna have to stall until I get my hands on a bunch of energies. Capturing Aroma got us another Infernape. And I'm just gonna evolve another one. And then I'll just instant charge. Alright, so we have a Fire Energy now that we were able to draw into those, and we have Boomerang Energy. So we can start attacking next turn, and now my opponent will be able to switch back their Palafin with the 0 to Hero ability. They can now upgrade to their Palafin EX. I don't know if you would call this an evolution, but yeah, it's still a stage 1. But now it has more HP, 340, and for just a single energy hit for 250. But yeah, again, this Iron Valiant combo is super, super awesome. They're slowly putting those damage counters while they switch back and forth with Palafin EX. And with that much attack, they can actually retreat their Iron Valiant and they can attack, knocking out our Rotom V, and that's more than enough. 250 will knock out our Rotom V. Very, very strong, and definitely an unfair matchup. 340 HP is nothing to laugh at, because that's a lot of HP. Infernape is not going to be able to knock it out at all. And we only have 140 HP to show for that. So I'm just gonna use Pyro Dance. Can accelerate the energy to our active, and then Boomerang Energy. It's gonna be useless, but we're gonna do our best, right? I'm gonna use Super Rod and just recover my Cleffa back into the deck. Could possibly use Radiant Charizard also, but we are so way behind on the price trade here. So we're gonna attack for 200. Boomerang Energy is what we'll discard, but the effect of that special energy, because we are discarding it, it allows you to reattach it back from the discard pile to our attacking Pokemon. So we can infinitely attack with Scorching Fire. That's why I really like Boomerang Energy. It's just really hard to set up. I wish I could have used this to my other deck list for Greninja EX, but it's just really hard to set up. So thankfully their Palafin EX, once it attacks, it cannot attack the following turn, but to negate that, they can actually switch out of the active spot, switch it back to the active, and they'll still be able to attack the same turn. So there's a workaround to it, and slowly but surely, while they're switching back and forth, the Iron Valiant is doing its thing with its ability Tachyon Bits. And again, they'll be able to get a knockout against our Infernape just by putting those damage counters. So we're we're four prize cards behind, guys, and they're gonna pass. Okay, they couldn't retreat their other Iron Valiants, so I don't know. At this point, I could just possibly concede because they just have way too much advantage. Even our Skeledirge, we can't even energize it because we don't have any energies in our hand. So let's see what else we could do here. I'll just put Radiant Charizard here, and I'm just gonna end my turn. Yeah, this is a really horrible matchup, and consistency wise, I'm not real happy with the result. I have tested this with Bibarel, but Infernape on its own is just really hard to manage. It requires 3 energies just to attack for 200, and a lot of Pokemon with high HP just, I don't know, it's just not as playable as I would liked it to be. The design is just really mediocre, you know. It's meant for those pre-release type of events. But my opponent's is just passing, and so are we. There's no way for us to get our Manaphy out of the active spot. And my opponent needs 1 more energy to get this Iron Valiant out of the active spot too. They do have Irida, so they could get a switch at this point and knock out our Manaphy. At least right now, my opponent is only taking 1 prize at a time unless they knock out my Skeledirge EX. And they even managed to heal their Palafin EX. So, I don't know. We might as well just give up now, but my motto is always just never give up, right? Alright, we got an energy. We can retreat our Manaphy. Let's see here. Is there any way for me to retreat Manaphy? And we can't knock out Iron Valiant. I'd really like to use this Fire Energy and use Skeledirge's ability to increase its attack so that we can get a knockout here, but I'm just gonna go for more setup here. So I'm gonna retreat Manaphy, use our Magma Basin to put energy to Radiant Charizard, and I'll Grasping Draw once more. I don't know. If you guys have any other great builds for Infernape, that would be awesome. Let me know if something worked out for you. And I've also looked at the Dragon type Pokemon that could benefit from fighting in fire, but all I saw was Koraidon, the Dragon type Koraidon. So let me know, guys, if you guys find any good combos for Infernape. But for now, my opponent was able to finally retreat their Iron Valiant, and here with Palafin EX is just obliterating our build. But I'm gonna continue, guys. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna put Fuecoco bench. We got heads. Skeledirge is prize, so we can't even evolve into another one. Use Super Rod to recover some of our other Pokemon here. I could just get a lineup of Infernape. And I'm just gonna use Scorching Fire. At least we can knock out this Palafin EX, fighting for 200 damage, and then we've already dealt that initial 180. Well, 200, but they healed early on with the water. The water card that heals all their Pokemon by 20. But here we go again with the Palafin with a 0 to hero ability. If they switch it out from the active to their bench, they can evolve or upgrade into Palafin EX. There's the switch. Tachyon Bit's ability also takes into effect. And one more to our Chimchar, we will get knocked out. Wait. They weren't able to evolve, but there's only one Palafin EX on their discard pile. Okay. One possibility is that their Palafin EX is in their hand. And probably one is prize. I don't know. I don't know. But so far they don't have anything. They're going to put their Tatsugiri in the active spot looking for a support card. They got an Iono. And we might have to use Iono in the next turn actually, because that's going to put their card down to just 1. Even though they have Mew EX to draw more. But at least that's going to limit their hand gonna use Counter Catcher. Take out this Iron Valiant because they just need to take out this Chimchar, so we could avoid that damage counter. Alright, cool. We can evolve into Monferno, so we can avoid any knockout from damage counters. And we're gonna use Scorching Fire since we used our Skeledirge EX Incendiary Song. We increased our attack damage, allowing us to knock out their Iron Valiant EX, getting us 2 prizes. So we need 2 more prizes. We could possibly knock out that new EX. However, I highly doubt it. We used Iono last turn. We possibly could have put that Palafin EX from their hand to their deck, and now they could evolve. Yeah, there it is. So that's what it was. The Palafin EX was in their hand, and I think they're just trying to get rid of their... No, they have Luminion V. They just need 1 energy. Mew EX has free retreat, and they can just retreat into their Palafin EX to the active and knock out our Infernape to win the game, to get that last prize. So with Luminion V, its ability, Luminous Sign ability, got them a supporter card, which is Professor's Research. 7 cards, I'm pretty sure it's a guarantee. Water type is there, water type energy, and they can just attach it to Palafin EX. Jet Energy? Yeah, it requires water energy. Oh no! Don't tell me they whiffed it. That's not gonna... They're not gonna be able to attack. That's a wasted turn, guys. I don't know what happened there, but okay. Well, that's gonna cost them the game. We have boss's orders in our hand. We're just gonna target Luminion V, might as well. And you know what? I'll finish this with Radiant Charizard. It's fine. Hey, despite our weakness to water, we actually made it through, and we won the game. Hey, I will take it. Good game. Alright, moving on to our next match. Both players mulligan. We had to take 2 actually. So my opponent will actually get 1 extra card to start their turn. And we're going to start with Radiant Charizard in the active spot. Not ideal because it has 3 retreat costs. It's going to be hard for us to get it out of the active spot. Now that I think about it though, since our Infernape can accelerate fire energies, we could even energize this Radiant Charizard. But yeah, my opponent has Varoom as one of their draw engine, I suppose. But for now, we're going to just set up our Chimchar and end our turn. Really not much we could do. And we're going against Gholdengo EX. So they have a bunch of Gimme Ghouls in play, and they're also playing Palkia V-Star. And with the Hyper Aroma, they can evolve into a bunch of Gholdengo EX. This is crazy. That is 1 huge turn, allowing them to evolve into 3 stage 1s. Wow, that is crazy. So now they have the means to draw so many cards. Their active Gholdengo can draw 2, and the ones on their bench can draw 1. And for just a single energy, depending on how many cards or energy cards they discard from their hand, with the Make It Rain attack, they can deal so much damage. But for now, our Radiant Charizard survives an attack. Their Gholdengo only deals 100 damage. But we might have to take advantage of their weakness here. I'm gonna discard those 2 to get Manaphy, because Palkia is telling me that they have Radiant Greninja, and by discarding those water energies, they can target multiple Pokemon and knock out a bunch of ours and get multiple prizes that way. So we got Switch, we can evolve into another Infernape, and I'm just gonna use Grasping Draw. We need more energies in our hand to be able to accelerate them with Infernape. And that's one of the bad things. At least the drawback of Infernape's ability, right? It can only accelerate one of each different types, one fire and one fighting. Unlike Baxcalibur that can attach as many water energies from their hand as many times as they want during their turn, this one is very, very limited. So even if you have a bunch of fire energies in your hand, you can't attach them on unless you have a lot of Infernapes set up. So if you can work around that, that's great, but finding our energies is a challenge in itself. So let's see what my opponent will do here. Can they finally get a knockout against our Cleffa? I'm pretty sure they can, but how are we gonna deal with this? At least we're hitting for weakness, so we can easily knock out their Gholdengo EX. Probably not gonna set up Skeledirge EX because they can take multiple prizes for it, so I could just use my single prize attackers and get 2 prizes each time we knock out their Gholdengo EX. So that's the plan here. We got Earthen Vessel with our Arven, and I'm just gonna get 2 fire energies. So we have 2 Pyro Dance available. We're gonna use this to attach into the active and then attach 1 energy for our turn. And then we can fully energize our active Pokemon and at least get a knockout against their active Gholdengo EX. And then see if we can set up our other Infernape. And I'm just gonna hold off on Rotom V for the meantime because again, they can just knock it out and take 2 prizes for it. So we're gonna slow down a little bit here. Got another Chimchar, which we will definitely set up and go from there. So we'll have to find our Boomerang energy, but that's one of the things with Infernape too. It has such a small or a very mediocre, again, mediocre HP of 140. It's just so easy to knock out. It's horrible. My opponent has boss quarters. They're gonna target Manaphy, and if they have Canceling Cologne, they can target 2 of our Pokemon and get 2 prizes. They have 7 cards left in their deck, but they're just gonna use Moonlight Shuriken without the Cologne, so our Infernape survives an attack. So they've taken out Manaphy, but that will afford us or give us an opportunity to at least be able to knock out their Gholdengo EX. So with our Infernape in the active spot, we can use our Magma Basin to power up our second attacker. And with Rotom V, I'm going to use my Forest Seal Stone to get Boomerang energy and be able to attack here. And we're hitting for 400 damage. And again, by discarding Boomerang energy, we can reattach it right back to our Infernape, getting us 2 prizes for this turn. All right, not too bad. We got a fire energy from our prizes. We can attach it to our other Infernape, and all we have to do is knock out 1 more Gholdengo to win this game. It really does help though that we are hitting for weakness against their Gholdengo EX. There's my opponent's Canceling Cologne. That probably would have been useful if they had it last turn, but thankfully they whiffed it despite all the draw that they were able to make last turn. But they're going to use Roxanne, and oh man, this is actually going to handicap us a little bit unless we can draw into something good. But they have superior energy retrieval with so much energy available to them. They can just knock out our Infernape easy. 3 cards discarded for 150 damage. Let's see here. I could use Palpad to recover boss orders in Arven. If I had a switch, I could just energize my Radiant Charizard and knock out their Gholdengo EX, but with no energies in our hand, there's really no way for me to do that. So I'll just have to retreat, use Magma Basin, attach it to my Infernape, and I'm just gonna use Instant Charge. There's really not much option I have for this turn. At least we got basic energy with Instant Charge, We could power up our Radiant Charizard to get a knockout here, actually. But we will need another energy, because if they knock out one of our Pokemon, we don't have any way to pivot. Our other Pokemon requires at least one energy to retreat. So what they could do here is actually retreat into Radiant Greninja and take 2 knockouts. And all they need to do is knock out one more Pokemon next turn. And if we knock out their Radiant Greninja, we only take 1 prize. But they're just gonna take a knockout against Fuecoco. Hey, I think we got this. I think we got this, guys. Alright, so we're not gonna be able to attack with Infernape because we don't have enough energy. What I'm gonna do is just use Magma Basin, attach it to our Radiant Charizard, and I'll just attach this just for security. Retreat our Infernape and be able to knock out their Gholdengo with Radiant Charizard. Dude, that was a close game. My opponent could have taken 2 knockouts with that Radiant Greninja to finish it, but we got it. Good game. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.